Hey there. Yeah, let's talk about depression again today. As always, I'm a real doctor. And nothing I say here can be official medical advice to treat or diagnose any disease, because you and I haven't, had an individualized session like IRL, and this is kind of our secret whispering place where nobody else knows that you and me, we're here sharing secrets to defeat the evil dragon of depression, right? I am a depression sufferer, as you know. Yeah. And like hardcore depression sufferer, like multiple medications failed, hospitalized for over 30 days. Yep. The rate of physicians offing themselves is 70% higher than other occupations. Yep. And as a physician, I think it's important to be open and honest about that. So, forgive my tone. It's gonna be a little funny this time because I just finished filming the Valley Girl medical exam video. So it's been like an hour. What have you been up to? How you doing? Absolutely, yeah. I'm sorry it's rough out there for a player. Here's the thing. I have an exercise today. It is called focusing on a single object. Yeah. We talked about mindfulness, and last time kind of included references anyway to some of the studies on mindfulness in depression. I think that mindfulness is really misunderstood. I'm so sorry, I've been into saying a lot because the Valley Girl thing is way up in me. But yeah, I think mindfulness gets kind of weird. People are very woo-woo, magic-y about it instead of very scientific and evidence-based, and there's a lot of misconceptions, and I think part of that is the fault of things like the ASMR community, or people who kind of claim to be treating something when they're not licensed professionals. As you'll see, I won't claim to treat a thing even though I am a licensed professional, because I don't want to diminish the value and importance, and just as a depression sufferer, it makes me annoyed when people act like you can just magically magic my depression away when that didn't happen. But mindfulness is a very useful adjunct tool that you can use as self-care. Oh yeah, did you notice the sounds really distracting? No, that's too, we're gonna do a couple of visual triggers while we do this too, while we chat, because I want you to feel really calmed down. And I think ASMR is powerful and wonderful for that, isn't it? When there is a video on evidence for ASMR, we talked about that too. Yeah. So you can check any of those out if you want. But today, we're going to try an exercise that is called focusing on a single object. So it's not going to be a very long video, but it's one that you can go back and listen to again and again and again and kind of practice. I'm going to walk you through the script, okay? So this has been a very long intro, of course, but we're going to make it good. We're going to make it good for you. Alright, and as you know, I have the DBT workbook by Matthew McKay up. That's what we'll be using today, and yeah, you can download a portion of it is a handout below. Obviously, you can also buy the whole handout. I don't get the whole workbook. I don't get any money for you doing that. It's just a workbook that helped me. Let's see any other housekeeping things before we get started. If you want to download the MP3 of this video, of this portion where we're gonna do the kind of meditation, you can probably do that through my Gumroad at gumroad.com/PeterPan, PETREPAN. R in the ear swapped from how you would normally spell Peter Pan. And I think last and least, there's a bunch of resources below in the description for if you are having very strong feelings of harming yourself. There's phone numbers, other things like that that you can use. If you need help finding a therapist, there's information for that below as well. Absolutely. So, take a deep breath. Let's check in. Let's be here together. Fellow sufferers along this journey, it matters. It matters that you're here. I say that every time, but you can't ever say that too much. So, focusing on a single object is the second mindfulness skill that will help you concentrate more fully in the moment. In the moment. Remember, one of the biggest traps of being unmindful is that your attention wanders from one thing to the next, or from one thought to the next. As a result, you often get lost, distracted, and frustrated. This exercise will help you focus your attention on a single object to train your mental muscle. This means you will learn to maintain your focus on whatever it is you are observing. And with that practice, you'll get better at focusing your attention, just like an athlete who exercises certain muscles to become stronger. During this exercise, you will eventually become distracted by your thoughts, memories, or other sensations. That's okay. This happens to everyone who does this exercise. Do your best not to criticize yourself or stop the exercise. Don't criticize yourself just because your mind wanders. Just notice it and return your focus to whatever object you are observing. Pick a small object to focus on. Choose something that can rest on a table, is safe to touch, and is emotionally neutral. I've talked before about like how I like my husband's ceramics, which I don't have one here. I would totally plug his ceramics right now. It's etsy.com/ceramic mugs and bowls/shop/ceramic mugs and bowls, all lowercase, no spaces, no anything else like that. But like something like that, something that's simple, and I think that something that's beautiful is helpful, but like something that's emotionally neutral, and obviously has to be safe to touch. I think this is where you can kind of get into the ASMR spirit. You can tap it. Tap, 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 tap. And that's why I like things like ceramics, because you can tap them, you can listen to them, you could even put water in it and like drink out of it. So, it's a good exercise. I really should have brought that in here with me today, but I didn't. So, pick your own thing, or get one of mine. A pen, a flower, a watch, a ring, a cup, or something similar. Don't choose to focus on something that could hurt you, or a picture of someone you don't like. So like no knives, other things like that. Okay. It's best something that could hurt you, right? This will stir up too many emotions for you right now. Find a comfortable place to sit in a room where you won't be disturbed for a few minutes. And put the object on the table in front of you. Turn off any distracting sounds. This is the time where you stop looking at me. You put it down and you just listen. If you have a stopwatch or an alarm clock, set the timer for 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Do this exercise once or twice a day for 2 weeks, choosing a different object to focus on each time. Okay? If you want, you can skip ahead to this part every time. Every time. Just remember, we are roughly 9 minutes in. And so you can skip ahead to here every time for the instructions if you want. To begin, sit comfortably and take a few slow, deep breaths. Then, without touching the object, looking at it and exploring its different surfaces with your eyes. Take your time exploring what it looks like, then try to imagine the different qualities that the object possesses. What does the surface of the object look like? What does the surface of the object look like? Is it shiny or dull? Does it look smooth or rough? Shiny or dull? Smooth or rough? Does it look soft or hard? Does it look soft or hard? Does it have multiple colors or just one color? Multiple colors or just one color? What else is unique about the way the object looks? What else is unique about the way the object looks? Take your time observing the object. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. if you can hold it in your hand, notice how much it weighs. What else do you notice? What else do you notice? What else do you notice about the way that it feels? Continue exploring with both your sight and your sense of touch. Continue to breathe comfortably. When your attention begins to wander, return your focus to the object. Keep on exploring the object until your alarm goes off. And then it says here, or until you have fully explored all the qualities of the object. But I'm telling you right now, you cannot possibly fully explore all the qualities of anything. Because every object has all of the universe, all the secrets of physics and chemistry and everything else like that. It has a lot of that. Like, I won't say everything, right? Because it won't have fire. It's not on fire. We specifically told you to pick something beautiful. But it's got atoms, electrons, protons, just like you. It's got all different lattices. You could spend years studying this object in material science and learn its crystal lattices, learn its chemical bonds, learn the energy levels, S, P, D, the different orbitals of the electrons in this object as it's bonded together. And the object isn't just what it is now, but it's also its history. All of the past of that object, how it was made, where it was sourced, all the fingers of all the other people who've touched it, how it was formed, whether it was formed by hand or formed by someone's hand and mind controlling a machine. However it was made, and its future, where it's going to go. Is it biodegradable? What's it really made of? What does it do? What is its function? What's its purpose? What are the stories that could be told about or by this object if it could speak? You would never ever finish exploring the material science, the biological surface, right? Every object has different biological elements on it as well, whether because of its history or because right now at this moment your biology is imparting little good bacteria, because you have good bacteria in your skin as well as sometimes bad bacteria, right? And good and bad really is about where the bacteria is, because certain bacteria is, only bad in certain numbers or certain situations, but your biology is interacting with this object. The oils on your fingers are interacting with this object. This object has a biological history as well, and you could spend a lifetime studying all of those things before you would know the object. What the object represents to people metaphorically and through history. How this object has been portrayed in stories. Like a cup. There are hundreds of stories about important cups, right? What it means to people in different kinds of literature and poetry as a theme or as a, symbolism. What it metaphysically means to you. What it means spiritually, the object, because every object has some kind of, somebody